Hello, Shake here, and it's time for another weekly wrap-up with the trading experts. Alright, let's get right into it. So last week, we were waiting to see what would resolve of this consolidation area. We were wondering if it was consolidation for a breakout of a wedge higher, or if it was a head and shoulders like we talked about. So we opened up Monday right here. We opened up higher, and it seemed like we might just gap and go. We gapped up, but there is no push behind that. There's absolutely no push. Now, it wasn't a weekday by any means. Stocks were up. Stocks were pretty strong. So when we came in Tuesday to a gap down, we were just thought, okay, we're probably still stuck in this chop. But Tuesday was one of those days where you take notice. We opened up lower. We pushed up about 8 cents, and then we just consistently sold off the entire day, pretty much confirming that head and shoulders pattern we were worried about. Now, let's talk about this head and shoulders pattern. Textbook, really just a textbook play here. It makes a left shoulder. We're looking at the left shoulder right here on high volume. It comes in, takes out that high. This is the head we're talking about on lower volume, and then it tries to push up again and make a third shoulder on poop volume. That's what we're looking at here. And then when it takes out the low, that's when you see volume expand. This day right here. I mean, that's just a textbook head and shoulders pattern. So right now, it's more of a hands-off environment because the market's going to be very choppy. It's looking for price discovery, support resistance. You see the last few days we've been bouncing around, not doing much, but typically pretty wide range days. We found support. What is this low? 211.21. Right around that 212 area we closed around. We gapped up today, tried to push up a bit higher, but then sold off right at this trend line. So it tried to get back inside the wedge, and it couldn't. It could not push up. So definitely something to watch for going forward. We were rejected by the 50-day up here. Following Tuesday, day of destruction. Everything's red. And now it's time to wait and see what happens, because the market's kind of stuck in a range. Either it's going to take out this level, further penetrate lows, or hold up, base out, and rip higher. But right now, definitely looking more likely to the downside. Let's get into the earnings this week. Start off, Alcoa started earnings this week. Disaster, absolute disaster in these Alcoa earnings. But they opened Tuesday. They're always the official mark of earnings season. But some good earnings we're looking at. This CUDA. Great earnings, great subscription growth, all that, bottom line revenue. So we're just going to wait here for a pattern to emerge. There's nothing in the chart tells us to buy this or do anything with it yet. But we want to recognize they had great earnings. It could be, if they go sideways for a bit, could be a potential opportunity for a great breakout. The first of the airlines, Delta, look at this day earnings. We could see 5 cent surprise. They beat. So nice little pattern. They've been pretty beaten up. Let's look at a weekly chart here. You'd see their fall from grace hasn't been pretty over the past 6 months or so. So there's these airlines. We're going to watch them. We're definitely going to watch them. It seems like they were really strong off the Delta earnings. A bunch of them report next week, and we're going to keep an eye on them. A bunch of banks have reported today. Let's look at JPMORGAN was first. Now this is pretty much the trend of them all. You know, gapped up high, opened up the market higher today, and just sold off. What else reported today? Citibank. Look at this. Gapped up, sold off. And the dog of all dogs, Wells Fargo, reported today too. Oh, look at that. They gapped up and sold off. So I'd be wary of these banks, if anything. They're not looking so hot. A few days ago, let's look at the XLF. I mean, they look like they were breaking. These are the ETF for all of the financials. It looked like they were breaking us out of this range, and then with this top, and then this was the Tuesday. This is Monday. We thought financials were going to lead us higher. Then Tuesday, disaster. They're really the beginning of the disaster. So these banks are definitely something to watch going forward. They may control which way the market goes up and down. So it's definitely something to watch next week. Let's get into some of the trades we were looking at. Now, the best trade of the week for sure was this cyber short. Just because it got so much market help. We noticed the choppiness of the market and how we might not resolve to the upside, so we got to have some shorts on deck. So this is what we look at. After a huge, these 3 days, after a huge change of trend like this, where we were really bullish on cyber, we caught a lot of this move on the up. I think we bought this. We had a trade alert. What, like 40? We bought it this day. What, $42? Not so bad. We rode it pretty well, but let's get that out of there. After we see 3 days like this, that's weak. That's a change of trend. So if this goes sideways at all, and this made a beautiful bear flag, I'll even give you this trend line too. Boom. So that's a beautiful bear flag right there. Very tight risk, relatively for the name. Executed it right around 49.5, and we're sitting here at 46.63 at close today, and it just looks like further downside continue. Shout out to our boy Rudy. He crushed his trade. We were proud of him. This is the first one he really crushed with us, so we'd love to see improvement of our members. Love to see the progress. Shout out to Rudy. Good shit. Let's go to our boy GoDaddy, man. This thing, a little bit of a topping tail today. So we were teaching our members about how we've progressed the stops through this trade. We started out, we bought the breakout, and this breakout, we initially had our stop all the way down here. Then when it puts a pivot in, and then shows us this day where it really rips higher, we put our stop at the low of the pivot. And then when it gaps up further, we moved it to the low of this day. We're like, all right, this was the igniting day. If it's strong, it should hold this low. Puts in a high, comes down. All right, the low of this day we're talking about, 33.38. Look at these lows. 33.43, 33.42. I'm telling you that is not an accident. That's why we trade with the system. It works out. It makes it way less stressful. Very systematic way of approaching the market. So then we try to break down. We see it rip up, and next day rip up. Move it to here. This red line. Love this day. Same thing. It's looking for support. Rips higher. So we put it at this new support. Same thing. And now with this topping tail, I would suspect that we're going to get stopped out through here. This around this low. What is this? 35.39. So I would expect Monday to be stopped out of this one, but it was a great run. Look at that. What is that? A few bucks right there. Pretty easy trade right there. Just had to buy the breakout pretty much and just trail it all the way up. What's our next one? Oh, the monster of the market. Shout out to our boy Troy. He built into this trade really well. He was telling us, one of our members, he bought it this day, added a bit through here. I'm not sure where, and then took some profit here, some in this 118 area, and now he's just sitting and he's holding and he's trailing it. Trim and trail. That's the name of the game with these breakouts. So he did a really good job. And we look at where the market is. Look at the market's done in the last few days. Gross, absolutely gross. Look at Apple. Apple's just ripping higher. So we could tell this is really the market leader. This is the one. This is the one you want to be in out of all the names. Every pullback should be bought. This is what BABA is pulling back a bit now, but this is what BABA was for a little bit. We think there might be some money rotation into Apple because that's acting as BABA was before. We talked about Facebook. We talked about this live. This did not work out well. Oh, let me get this moving average out of here so we can see a little clearer chart. All right, so we got in this day, and we were talking about how we paid for the trade. We took about 50% off the table into, we were looking at this pivot. We wanted to take a high of 130.73 and then this high of 130.70. So we took around 130.5 is when we took a lot of intraday profit. And then we were stopped out this day. It was the Tuesday we were talking about. Disaster ensued. So I still did really well with that one. Oh, shit, hold on. I still did really well with this one. It's all about having a plan. We talked about paying for the trade. Very important. And, if you take your loss, you take your loss. It's fine. But we still made money because we paid for the trade. That's why keeping your tight stops is important. All right? So we don't have to deal with any of this mess. And if it sets up again, it sets up again. But you know what? We're done with it for now. It's fine. I don't marry any of these stocks. What else? Oh, trade of the week, Microsoft. How you doing? How you been? Bennett was in this one. Oh, man. Poor Bennett. Bennett bought the shit out of this through 58. I believe he told me he kicked some around, I don't know, in the 30s, but not much. He was like, man, this thing's gonna beast. And then he gets stopped out. Absolute low here, 56.89. How you feeling? Someone's got to be the low today. Glad it could be Bennett. um, but that one didn't work out. That's why you take some profit. I mean, this was on Tuesday. Nothing till long side worked out Tuesday. Everything was washed out. So I mean, days like that happen in the market. That's why you have your stops. That's why you take profit into strength. That's why you have a game plan. It doesn't. You're not panicking out of emotion. You're just trading. You're just sticking to your game plan. What else we got on the radar? Oh, GSUM we traded this week. Oh man, this one showed a lot of love and then took it back real quick. All right, so we initially got in this one right here through 17 bucks. A bunch of our members got in with us. Great trade. Took a lot of profit above 18. Held on to some of ours, keeping our stop. What's this low? 16.52. We had our stop 16.49. Okay, comes down. Look at this day's low. 16.51. We bought a little bit off that, and then we held it this day. 16.50. Again, 16.51 is the low. And then this day, where it looked like it was going to break out, we got to take some profit. And this stock was so cheap. We were buying 10, 20 cent risk, and we could sell it for a buck and change. That's how you want to trade. Very tight risk. It's all risk reward. Name of the game, risk reward. And we held on to a bunch of stock, thinking it could break out to all-time highs, and it just didn't work out. But we still did really well with the trade. So we got stopped out of a bunch when it broke the low of this inside day, 17. But then we kept our core down to 16.50. Yeah, we got stopped out, but what were we losing? 20 cents? Oh, I'll trade $1 for 20 cents every day of the week, every single day. All right, let's take a look into some charts we got coming up. Bank of America, they got earnings next week. This stock's just that's not Bank of America. That's Bank of America. So they've been doing pretty well out of all the financials, but I'd say they've been one of the best financials out of them all. So there's one to watch, but I mean we don't do a lot with the banks, but they tend to drive the market, especially with the interest rates being such a topic of conversation with the Fed. So we're gonna look out for that one. That's Monday, and then Netflix, they report Monday. This is when we start to have some fun. The tech names. Let's look at weekly here. So Netflix is going to be very interesting to see. They recently they have 2 straight quarters missed, and I can't remember. They haven't missed 2 quarters in a row in a while before that, so I can't tell you the last time they missed 3 quarters in a row. So that's going to be very interesting to see. That is definitely going to set the tone for tech, at least for this week until the rest of them report. So that's Monday after the close. Tuesday, Johnson & Johnson, huge company. Chart is not looking good. A little support here, a little break. Could expect a breakdown there. But look at this. Yep, earnings 10.18. We got Goldman Sachs to further out the banks. Let's look at weekly here. I mean, not much going on. They're one of the stronger ones, but these banks have been beaten up. They've been beaten up. eBay Wednesday. Not much there to the chart. This is definitely one of the stronger ones, though. We love these gap ups. When the gap ups hold, that's super bullish when it holds the gap up. So see how they do. They could just beast on highs, but we'll be watching that one. And then, more of the airlines coming Thursday. American Airlines, decent chart, nothing special. Alaska Airlines, they've been doing pretty well. So these airlines are going to be very interesting to see. They've been beaten up, so they might have a trade there. But we're definitely going to wait for earnings. Wait to see how they come out. Let's get the moving average back. And now looking forward to the market. So let's look at a weekly. So zoom in a bit. These lines out of here. All right, so we're looking at a weekly chart now. So now we talked about how it was inside week after inside week. So this following week was really going to determine if it took out the high or low of this inside week of how the market should respond. So it opened up Monday and it tried to push higher. No strength at all. No gas. Everything was heavy. Tuesday we come in, sell off. Now, we take out the high and then take out the low of this inside week. That's pretty bearish right there. So going forward, we got to watch how this handles this support, this huge support, this 212. We've been talking about it for weeks. We're going to see how the market handles this area. But right now, I mean, who's to say? Who's to say what's going to happen? We're just going to react. We're not going to really predict what's going to happen. But this was definitely a bearish week. We see raised volume onto last week's inside week to the downside. So definitely a lot to keep in mind. Look at the daily, and we're kind of chopping around a bit. Look at this. Yesterday we gapped down a bit, raged up. Today we gapped up, tried to push higher, and just sold off the rest of the day. Ugly close into Friday. Look at these last 15 minutes. Very ugly. Look at this. Gapped up, tried to push higher. This is a 15-minute chart. Took out lows, and right as soon as we did that, it was just downtrending all day. So we got a lot to watch out for. A lot of earnings. We love playing the earnings. Earnings names don't care as much what the market does. Obviously, they do care somewhat, but earnings names in general means volume. Means it's not, if the market goes up, it's going to go up. Market goes down, it's going to go down. It's going to trade on its own for the most part. So that's what we love about the earnings, is that there's volume there and it's just price action. So we got the ones we're waiting on next week, and then it really gets started. That's when traders make money. That's when traders have fun in the market, earnings. So that's what we're going to be watching for going forward. That about wraps up this weekly wrap up with the trading experts. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll have you guys ready with the Sunday night trade of the week. So good luck. Happy trading. All right, we'll talk to you next week.